goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Thanks for having us. This is a very cool show.
Yeah, so through many iterations, and we finally landed on the weirdest one by far.
Yeah, simple feelings, and boom, you got a song.
I remember this one time. I had been writing some songs, and I went out. I'm just going right in on this story. I went out, and so I was.
The story's longer than the song itself. We'll go ahead and play it.
And listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band. Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar. Tonight, some spooky banter with Phillip and David. Happy Halloween. Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese.
I'm your co-host, David Moore.
And this is...
Your next favorite dog?
No, it was trying to be my costume.
It's a good costume. I mean, it looks just like a dog. Now, this isn't... For anyone that is listening, Phil is holding up a dog to the camera.
A very small dog.
That is a new dog.
That is, yes. Was a new addition to the family, unexpected, but she's a love, and... she's been a good addition. She's been around for a good bit, and then now it has joined the pack.
So now that they can have multiples, they can run around together in a group and
correct,
truly make the UPS's life hell.
That is Gracie the shit poo, which I'm pretty convinced was just somebody wanted to be able to name a dog shit poo.
Right, they can just say it without be like, I can say a bad word without saying a bad word.
Right.
But man, is it full of bad words.
Right. And but she's awesome. So, welcome. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
It's a banter episode. David and I get to kind of catch up on a bunch of stuff here, and looking forward to it. This is some cool stuff here. But how are you? How's your Halloween going?
Well, since my birthday was just a little bit ago, it's great.
There you go. Happy birthday to David.
So, no, it's fine. I thought we should dress up in costume. I was going to come as Phil.
And
Phil was going to grow a beard and come as me.
Right. I guess I'm more dressed as like a roadie, like a backstage kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, but or we could have someone come on dressed as someone famous and pretend that we're interviewing that person. That would be a Halloween. That's sort of Halloween meets April Fool's Day all at one time.
I was thinking, yeah, we got some good April Fool's ideas in there too. But off the top here, so I had this one in reserve for a while. As you know, David, I have some fun things to throw at you at the top. Mm-hmm. But this just seemed to be too perfect for today. It's been one that I'm like, I wanted to use it, but it never quite, I always try to make the opening match with the artist in some capacity.
Makes sense.
Kind of like the t-shirt, but, there's like these little subtle things that either I and maybe one other person would give a nickel about. So here is something I came across that I just was so super interesting. I'm going to take the ticker out too, but, this is
okay.
A listing of, means of death. From what's the year on this?
1632.
1632. So
or
this
as it says at the top, this year being 1632.
Right. But there's just some really funny ones in here. No, and funny. I mean, it's morose, but gallows humor almost exactly. But 628 people died just from being aged. But then you had 17 who died for apoplectic. There was one person who was bit by a mad dog.
Well, I mean, look, it's specific, and I appreciate the
right.
The specificity. I like the fever one, which we would now probably refer to as infection.
Yep, exactly. One person died from canker.
I saw that on the list. A single person died of vomiting.
This one I'm not sure. 5 people died cut of the stone. I'm not sure what even that was. Here was a good one. 267 people died from dropsy.
And swelling. It's dropsy and swelling. Yeah. That's to separate it from the regular dropsy.
34 drowned.
15 made away with themselves, which is, I guess, of the era for, taking your own life.
Right.
Wow, that's a very sort of almost elegant way to put it. It almost sounds like also you just ran away.
80 from measles. Yay, science for giving us a vaccine for that. 43 died of jaundice, which I think is just a funner way to say jaundice. Like, we had the jaundice.
We had the jaundice.
This one's funny. 38 people died of purples, which was spotted fever, but I thought that was kind of just a better... Again, they just had better ways to refer to things back then. And 1 person died of vomiting.
Yeah.
And 27 of worms. That sounds horrific and a great way to finish on Halloween. So there you go. The means of death, this being the year 1632.
I think we should just rewrite all of our obituaries and death notices are written around that type of style.
Yeah, I thought that was a lot of fun. In this same spirit of death, a fun story here is we had my wife Christy does a wonderful job like decorating the front of the house, whether the plants in the ground or the potted plants on the stoop or whatever, and then she takes very good care of it all. And we had a praying mantis basically the entire summer, just hanging out, and you'd go out and he'd be in a different bush. And I know it's a he because it's coming up here in a second.
I was just going to ask on how are we sure on this pronoun choice here?
And I'll show you why. Because I went out to what happens now is with the leaves falling, I think the wind perpetually blows at my house.
Okay. So where it's positioned on the street and things like that.
And so the leaves are always coming up our steps and kind of into the front door. So I take the leaf blower and I have to blow it out like at least twice a week. So the one day I'm doing it and I see in the leaves as they're kind of billowing up is the body of the praying mantis. And I went, oh no. So I stopped and I go to pick him up because I was worried he was like alive. Like I just worried I was like blowing him around. But so
I had a rental. I mean, I think he signed a lease agreement with your front stoop.
He definitely did, and we loved having him. But again, here's how we know it was a him.
There's no head.
There's no head.
There we are. That will do it.
On this gentleman, who must have lived a very nice summer and found a lovely mate, who then. For those of you who maybe don't know, David, why don't you share what happened to his head?
Well, after copulating with his newfound love, at a sign of, esteemed passion and love, she eats his head off.
Which, I mean, they teach you that, I think, in high school. And I was just like, I remember thinking, like, why did you tell me that?
Well, but now you know why,
and
so
now
you can answer these questions.
But we were sad to kind of, like, obviously we're always sad now because the flowers are always so beautiful and we have our breezeway that we hang out at a lot and it has to all come down. So we're sad about that. And we're sad about losing our friend, the praying mantis.
That's no more rental money.
But if there's one way to go, I mean, that's...
Yeah, I mean, look, that's way up there. Like, that should be on that list.
Yes, I really wish it was. So then so the story continues. Later that day, I happened to go out and meet some friends just for some drinks in and around town. Went to the Sun Inn, started telling this story, and someone else, a total stranger at the bar, was like, "Wow, wait, let me tell you this story about a praying mantis. It was on the hood of my car, and I had my child with me, who was in a bucket seat." Well, first of all, they said I had my child in a bucket. Then another total stranger went, "You had your child in a bucket?" And so that was an awesome moment. And then once we kind of, canceled Child Protective Services,
everyone's like this. Just a nomenclature issue.
Yeah. So she said what she did is she threw her shoe at the praying mantis and missed because she's like she was just worried because it was kind of, she said, menacing. So at that point, it raised one hand. So she threw another shoe at it, missed again, it raised the other hand. And she could tell it was now going to come at her. So then she said I threw a boot at it. And I went, how much footwear do you have? At which point the praying mantis jumps at her in the face. She starts flailing like this, falls backwards, got a concussion. It wasn't a recent story. It was from like a few years prior. And we're having a hilarious time with this story. And then I was like, wait, I know what you're talking about. So catch this. I was actually at a golf course. And I go to my golf bag in the back of the cart. And on the hood of the cart was a praying mantis. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I start filming it. And check this video out. It'll totally corroborate her story. That thing jumped right at me. So these, at some point, they get territorial and pissed, and they're gonna, give it a go.
I don't think they can hurt you though. Like,
no, I did not fall backwards and get a concussion. I kind of laughed.
Jesus out of you. I mean, but
so massive praying mantis moment for just the Reese plots, basically. And then the best part about all of that was somehow we actually got on the show. And the person who told the praying mantis story, the woman with the many footwear,
7 legs or whatever,
she actually has listened to our show before. So I'm almost hoping that she now listens to this and has an enjoyable moment of the fact that we're sharing her story here. But yeah, so praying manti are everywhere and hilarious, great story element.
Good summer rental clients.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of things we've learned today.
So yes, I just wanted to. I found that whole praying mantis story arc was great for me. And then one more. I thought this was a very cool little tidbit, and again, it kind of fits with the theme of like something either just spooky or just wildly different. A very good friend of mine had passed along this video of this band, and to say that we have to have this person on our show is an understatement. They said, here is what I think something you'll love. It's one of the types of music that you really, really enjoy. And then actually it's a representative of this kind of music of Combat Crisis. But here is jazz-y metal. Is this not amazing?
I appreciate the fact that the guitarist is a very modern metal guitarist in the sense that he's playing an 8-string guitar for this, so that he has the extended range, so that you can do those, full-on djent sounds that they're pulling off there.
Yeah. So the singer's name is Claudio Borda, and clearly just has a great time with mixing genres and just having a grand old time. So I really hope that we can reach out to him and bring him on the show. This is incredible.
Random smashing bottles in the video.
Yep. And they're somewhat dressed up for the jazz portion of it, kind of speakeasy vibe, but then they're smashing bottles on their own head. And then there is that 8-string. That is fantastic.
Well, even the odd time signatures of like progressive metal.
Yep. Well, I think that's the true jazz and metal together kind of. I really want to see this live, like in the bookstore speakeasy here in Bethlehem.
Oh my gosh, they would get booked and then empty the place.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, there you have jazz-y metal. It goes on for a little bit more, but I just thought that was fantastic. And thank you to Alicia for sending that along.
We're typically fans of when two genres get together in a great taste that people do not anticipate. So we've had a few of those types of artists on, so
right.
This matches a seemingly mission we've established for ourselves.
Correct. The two great tastes that maybe don't taste great together. But,
Nope, but sometimes that bitter dissonance is what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and I appreciated just the crisp breaks of everything. I just thought it was so cool.
And they have, typically jazz and metal, while very different techniques, usually both require high-end musicianship in order to play correctly. And they are showing off both sides of that.
Correct. Yeah, I thought it was very, very cool. So perhaps a sneak peek coming attraction. Who knows? I'll reach out to them and we'll see if we can't bring them on the show.
We'll find out.
So yeah, that was an extended opening news-ish. I don't know what we need a label for our opening. It's not news.
News reel.
Correct.
From the front.
Yeah, and we need the hat with the press.
Oh, with the press thing. Yeah.
But here's another little bit we keep doing. David, I saw some live music.
Wait, what? I'm shocked by this revelation.
Yes.
You have seen much more. Actually, I have not been to a concert in quite a bit of time, simply because of things happening outside of. All I do is sit here and wait for you to show up, and then when that's not happening, I'm sleeping. But on the rare case that I go out and do something, I have not had a chance to do that as of late. But who did you see, or who did?
Actually, I have two different shows to share, and the opener of the second one. But the first one I wanted to share is just pictures, because you were not allowed to record.
Okay.
So it's really just the stage before it started. But it was Loreena McKennitt, who was kind enough to lend us the ability to use her music during our No Planet B Jamboree.
Correct.
And she tours once every 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, she doesn't do it very often. The Canadians only let her out. Canada's we gotta let her out because the Americans get mad.
Right.
But not often.
Yeah. But yeah. So this was her stage. It was a very cool, again, kind of spooky setup. She kind of has a witchy vibe to her, new agey, I guess you might even say. The candles were in the back there. That's her harp in the middle. And then she played harp and piano. There was a person on many, many guitars, a cello, a violin, and then a combination of a stand-up bass and a more traditional bass. And played, majority of what she was playing it was called Revisiting the Visit. So it was going back to that album, but she still played some of her other, more current and more popular stuff. But it was almost everything off of that album, which was very cool, because that's right about the time I got into her music was when that one was coming out. And so
the big break from that era, though I think it's the album after The Visit, is The Mummer's Dance, which is the song that was the big sort of breakthrough in the album. I think after that.
Yeah. Book of Secrets was the album. Mummer's Dance was the single, the big hit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yes, that was the one after that one. Yep. But The Visit.
I thought I was getting my eras pretty close.
You nailed it. And then can anybody keep a secret? Shh. Okay, everybody keep a secret. But I did snap this picture while they were on stage. Don't tell anybody.
Did you just slide it out of your pocket and hope it was in focus, kind of thing?
Yes, it was. It was a rather quick one. I was on the aisle, so I was like, someone could really smack me down. Oh, and then you want to know something even funnier? This was great. I got an email yesterday, and sometimes I just look and see who it was from and what the subject line is to decide whether I need to stop and answer right away or can I wait.
Right.
So I was walking somewhere and I was hoping it was something I could let wait, and it said Live Nation, and the subject line was, "Did you take a picture at Loreena McKennitt?" So I'm like, It wasn't Live Nation. It was StubHub. So I opened it because I'm like, oh crap! Am I did they what?
They literally have a picture of you taking the picture. It is that kind of our facial identification software has found you.
But what it was StubHub wants you to send pictures from the seat you were in, so that when you're buying a ticket, they could say, "Oh, here's what it looks
from
like
your seat," kind of thing.
But I had my heart stop for a second. I just remembered that now as I was showing it to you. That's amazing.
Where did you see that show? I think I know what it is, but
So it was something called Miller Theater. It's part of the Kimmel Center.
Yep.
So it's right on Broad Street, right near City Hall. And it's a very, very cool, very, very cool
I believe
venue.
it is where the symphony used to play.
I think you're right. It's right next to
their prior location before the Kimmel Center, the current Kimmel Center main hall, which I can't remember the name of, is where they perform now.
Yeah, wonderful theater. It's in very good shape. There's probably some more work they could do, but it's great. and it was sold out. And she kept talking about how it was a great audience. I think she maybe doesn't always do an encore because it looked like the rest of the band was like looking to her.
Right.
And she played 3 songs. I think she was kind of rewarding the audience because it was such a good crowd.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple concerts like that where I've seen artists that come out either solo after the band is played and done one of these like, so we're all out of songs that we've rehearsed, but you've been amazing. This is the only plan, blah, blah, blah. And so they'll sit down with like just a single instrument and sort of make their way through something.
Yeah, it did feel like she kind of added a little more because it was a very cool night. It was a very, very good performance. But if anybody gets asked if I took a picture during the show, the answer is no.
Never happened.
But anyway, yeah, so that was that one. And then, yes, David saw some live music. Previously interviewed Quinn Sullivan.
Yes. We interviewed him. I'd have to look up the exact date, but if you go to nextfaveband.com,
I love this promo right here.
You can find Quinn's show, his episode, which was in April of 2023 is when we spoke to Quinn, and we had a nice conversation with him.
Yeah, super impressed with everything that he puts out. He's such a we said it a lot. He's kind of just like a savant. Like he just was kind of born with a silver guitar in his hands.
I shared a picture of Quinn with a friend of mine, and his response was, "Oh, he's younger than I thought." I'm like, "He's young."
Yes,
like
yes,
he is young.
Yes.
Like
he was 16 when he played the Crossroads with Eric Clapton. So he's
and that was a while ago.
And that was like 8 years ago. Yeah, I think, and he's definitely. But so here's a little clip of him now, kind of just doing his own thing, and he seems to be, he's just as humble and just as comfortable as he was back then, which seems to be an absolute revelation to start with. But came out afterwards to the merch table, talked with people. I mean, like just a super cool, chill dude, and so talented. So here's some Quinn Sullivan for you to enjoy.
Y'all feel like dancing? Get up! Come on! Come on, everybody, let's go.
Seems to be just so comfortable. Like this is like we said, kind of born to do it.
Yeah.
Total showman. Like it was like one of those shows where you just sit back and you're like, this is what you pay a ticket to go see. It's a person who's super talented, great songwriter, good voice, and just
it's all a show.
Correct.
Yeah.
And very guitar driven, as you can tell, but did all those fun parts of a guitar show where like did some kind of like soloing back and forth with the keyboardist where they echoed each other, all that kind of cool stuff that you probably just don't get ever tired of, especially when it's done by a talented couple of musicians.
Yeah, I mean, and this is pretty high energy here too, which is great because that's definitely his youthful exuberance is able to power all that. And I mean, you saw it at a great venue too. Like this is a great place.
Sellersville Theater, yeah, we should mention that. Sellersville is a great spot to see a show.
Yeah, I mean, it's he can play, and I mean, like that sounds like such a silly statement to make, but like the guy can play, and there's something about the sort of guitar hero factor of that playing that's awesome to watch.
Yep. And it's just all so fluid and simple to him, like Yeah, sorry, I got lost in his solo.
Why you go to a show like this?
Yeah, exactly right. So yeah, see Quinn Sullivan if you're near Sellersville Theater. See a show there.
Yeah, definitely.
Super fun. Yeah, he's just so good. So the other thing I wanted to share was there was a great opener. Someone I had never heard of before, which is probably often the case. But I thought he was great too. So more bluesy, but similar in the fact that it was a trio, and his name was Shane Guerette. And that was the band, like it was just the Shane Guerette and bass, drums, and him.
Yeah, the power trio setup.
Power trio setup. And this particular video I shot, it's a shorter clip, but I thought it was a cool one because I was also just enamored with the shadow he was casting on the wall. And I picked this one in particular just because I was like kind of just sitting there going, wow, it just looks like such a cool thing. It was almost like someone doing shadow puppets, but it was just him playing the guitar. So here, enjoy.
It's a rabbit.
It's a rabbit duck. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, here is Shane Guerette.
I've been waiting so long. Red walls are so for my house. Red walls are so in the pale state. Red walls are so for my house. Red walls are so in the pale state.
I really dug this. I just love it when an opener just grabs you and is like, oh, hell yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's a bonus, and like I always am excited. I mean, it's part of our sort of thought process here at the show anyway, but I'm always excited for openers. And it sometimes is a band that I know, sometimes I know nothing about them, and you just wait for that moment to see like, did I just get a bonus?
Yep.
Kind of thing. The reality is it's not his shadow that's awesome. It's actually the lights on stage contain him to make him 6 feet tall. So when he sits on the stage, he's actually 11 and a half feet tall.
Right,
and that's a hugeness that becomes revealed under that set of circumstances.
Yeah, and you can see there, like, his showmanship was almost in his lack of, he put the music on display. You saw that he went from one song right to the next. If he came up to the microphone, it was not to tell a story. It was not to do anything other than just announce the next song. So somewhat of just purely, I don't want to say any, like, it wasn't like he was aloof. It was more just like, oh, by the way, I'm going to play this song. And then crushed it. And then one after another. It was just like so cool to watch. It was just one of those, like, almost like how you might, again, run into someone who's just a brilliant person at like either busking on a subway or something like that. And you're just like, how are you this good?
Yeah, and I think a lot of those cases, it's also in defense of the lack of storytelling, is that the opener only gets a limited amount of time, and they're trying to make the most of it. And telling a story is time that a song is not being
totally true. But to that point, though, it was just like it looked like it again kind of came so easy to him to be able to play this rock and blues, and in, I don't know, kind of in a different way. Like it just wasn't like 1-4-5. It was different. It was cool. I don't know. I just really dug his music, and similar to the other one we talked about. This one I did point blank ask him after his set though, and I said, "Would you come on the show?" And he said, "Yes." So we're talking about January, February, and we might have some Shane Guerette live on the show.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the music I wanted to share and the stories. And we've got some other stuff coming up, obviously in November, but then I'll probably get shut down a little bit. You might see me in a sling because I'm going to have some shoulder repair.
This is true.
And that's probably why I was jamming and so much fun in September and October. But but there's that. And then
he's getting a robotic shoulder, in case anyone's wondering.
Right, yes.
I mean, it's a robotic shoulder. It's going to be cool, but it definitely is going to have some sling time.
Correct. But probably a good thing to do the reminder here again. Upcoming is the Winter WonderJam. It is on Sunday, the 10th of December. It is at Godfrey Daniels, so if you're within driving distance of Bethlehem, you're welcome to join us in person. If you would rather just kind of chill at home and enjoy the festive music from your home, or catch it on demand afterwards, or if you're just nowhere near Bethlehem, the live stream will be there again. And it's going to be, we're going to follow the pattern of kind of what we've been doing more recently, where it's 90-ish minutes of more like this banter, stories to tell, maybe some interjection of some music and interviews. And then we have some live in-person performances, and we're going to let them kind of take the stage and take over for the second half. And so we're picturing it being from like 3 to 6. And whether it's in person or virtual, feel free to kind of bounce in and out. No need to. It's it's one of those kind of just enjoyable days where it's a lot of kind of sharing of gratitude. Retrospective of what happened on the year. We personally invite anybody who was on the show throughout the calendar year to submit a song of their choosing. Could be their own original. Could be a holiday song. Could be just a winter seasonal song. Could be 18th century druidic, celebration of evergreen trees, which might actually happen. We're not that could be on the docket.
I would say let's not spoil the entire thing, Phil.
Anyway, it's one I really look forward to, because you can kind of just sit back and enjoy it, and have such a fun kind of like peek back to all these cool things that happened. And I keep pinching myself, we've been doing this a year and a half now as your next favorite band, and just keep getting blown away by the people who say yes to come on the show. So lots more to happen too. It's pretty bonkers what's happening, and I just grateful for all that. We have a thankfulness banter. I'm somewhat stepping on that one. We're supposed to be spooky right now, but I just kind of wanted to promo the Winter WonderJam, because it's always such a fun day.
Well, I mean, it's important that people are to start, clearing their calendar out for December 10th. Like, correct. I mean, we're calling dibs.
Yep. So make sure you have that. Even if you don't have that day available, definitely check out, the on-demand version of the stream.
Of course.
It's cool. And usually what we do is afterwards edit together just all the songs and call it a Yule log, so that if you just simply wanted, some holiday music to throw on while you're either having guests over or wrapping gifts, we have 2 other prior versions of it. And I just find it awesome because it's either original live recordings that people had done for us, or it's original Christmas music, which is always nice. Like if that's something you have on, it's always nice to have that as an alternative to what the
Christmas greatest hits, which is like 14 songs,
right? And it's already probably being played in Target right now. But
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah. And then even if you're not Christian or you don't celebrate Christmas, there's still really good stories year end stuff. And we try to raise funds for a local homeless shelter. We try and encourage that for other communities that maybe won't be local to Bethlehem. So it is still a good day to join in. And there are some people who have submitted music where they're like, I hate Christmas music and I'm going to play you this song. And we put that on too, because it's a celebration of these musicians and their excellence.
Well, and look, music is music. So
Correct.
We're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. David, what did we learn today?
We learned that you've seen a hell of a lot more concerts than I have as of late.
Yes, we learned that.
We also learned that the Winter WonderJam is upcoming. We learned about the list of, if you will, of 1632 of the different ways to die, none of which included post-sex decapitation.
Yeah, we definitely learned don't have sex with a praying mantis.
Well, I mean, if you're the woman, I mean, like, it's not, I don't think it's so bad for you, right? I mean, you get a meal and everything out of the whole
Oh my
deal.
gosh. All right, that's a good place to...
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
That you have enjoyed this episode of Your Next Favorite Band. It was some knucklehead banter like the good old days, specifically built around the spookiness of the season And then we finished with some gratitude, which is always a good place to land. We'll have some links in the show notes here to some of the music we shared, and then certainly we'll definitely check out the Quinn Sullivan interview from back in April if you like that music that you heard today, and even if you didn't like it, which is probably impossible, but he's got such an amazing story, so one of our definitely must check out interviews is with the one there with Quinn Sullivan. We have such a great kind of close to the year here. We've got some really cool guests coming up in November. We have a gear special where we had some really cool behind-the-scenes peek at the Radiohead tribute band There. We have a musician-comedian coming on, and we have a talent buyer to learn more about what that even is, and then leading all up to the WonderJam, the holidays, the New Year, and then we've already got some wonderful stuff booked for January and February. So believe it or not, this train continues to roll. Thank you, David. Thank you, listeners. And give us a recommendation for who you think our next favorite band would be. We love when we get those. So you can use the website, the social medias, or just stop us in the street. And we'd love to hear your feedback on that. And hope to see you at a live show soon.